go. It kind of rhymes, doesn't it? Yeah. Since it does, doesn't it? It just rhymes. Anyway, I just thought I'd kind of stick that. Anyway, it rhymes. What the heck? Let's see. What else is coming up on Coast to Coast this week? Howard Hughes, Secret Life in Autistic Boy's Message. Richard Serra takes over the helm again on Saturday night with Mark Music, Tony Collin, and Douglas Wellman. The first half discussing the history-changing story of Eva McLeland and her reclusive life married to a mystery man she discovered was Howard Hughes. Bizarre. Howard Hughes. I thought he was dead. Anyway, it was followed by Tawny Collin, who shared her family's journey into her son Josiah, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 7. Josiah began typing words on his iPad, revealing surprising wisdom from such a young, nonverbal child. Should be a good show. Somewhere in Time, which is early primetime Saturday night. That's a rerun of Art Bell. Love this. I usually carry this on my 9-foot signals. Great show. We got that coming up this fall on 107.9. This is a good one here. Somewhere in Time. William Pierce, who wrote the novel The Turner Diaries, talked about how his book was said to have influenced Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City bombings. This is from August 15th, 1996. I remember hearing that show. Pretty good one, too. UFOs, Facts and Fiction, Sunday night. George Knapp takes the helm. Stanton Freeman and Kathleen Martin. Always had an interesting show when they're on. Significant evidence of a U.S. government cover-up of an alien presence along and through misinformation, distortion, whatever. UFO experts Stanton Freeman and Kathleen Martin will join them to discuss the wealth of archival documents that clearly demonstrates a cooperative disinformation efforts between mainstream media and the government as they refute claims made by personal skeptics. Ooh, boy, that's going to be a good show. Yeah, gotta check that one out. Man, that's going to be one of those get into. Okay, then we go to Monday night, the beginning of the week. Beginning of the week, George Norrie's back for his regular weekday stint on Coast to Coast, and he's got Harry S. Dent and Paul Bartholomew as a guest in the first half hour to discuss the cyclical nature of, this is Harry Dent, we'll discuss the cyclical nature of market bubbles and why he expects a crash to happen no later than next year in late 2017, seeing the sharpest crash outlined and what we can do to cash in. In the second half of the show, Paul Bartholomew, let's try to say that right, twice, that's a tongue twister. We'll discuss the connections between various paranormal cryptozoological creatures and their sightings and what happens during the times of peak sightings. Should be a good one. I got a good friend of mine, Paul, at our church about that, because he's in that cryptozoology, so I have to tell him about that. Power of Consciousness does Tuesday night, when George Norrie has David Nicole on there. Former environmental lawyer David T. Nicole, he's a PhD, founder of and executive director of the Gaia Field Project, Institute for Subtile Activism. He's also co-founder of Beings of Peace, one of the world's largest global meditation events that occurs annually on the International Day of Peace, September 21st. He'll discuss the power of consciousness. This is on the 20th. Power of consciousness in the scientific research into non-locality and mass consciousness. experiments. And then there'll be open lines in the latter half of that show. Going to Wednesday, hegemony and global elite and paranormal phenomenon. So that's going to be a good one. William Engdahl, who had written on issues of energy, politics, and economics for more than 30 years, will discuss details on a recent Monsanto-Bayer merger and how the tiny group of global elites are gaining control of the world's oil, agriculture, and currencies. Listen to this one. We'll also talk about the recent meetings with Putin and other leading figures in Russia. Second half, Timothy Renner, who has written articles on several publications including Morbid Curiosity and Wired USA, will discuss various paranormal phenomena centering around the South Central Pennsylvania, with particular focus on legends of the Toad Road and Seven Gates of Hell, which includes missing people and people found dead in the woods. Another bizarre and unusual show for a way out there coming up. Physics and Jazz and BTK Killer. This ought to be a good one. This is on Thursday next week with Shannon Alexander and Catherine Rumsfeld. First, Stephen Alexander. He's a professor of physics at the Brown University. He's also winner of the 2013 American Physical Society Bullshit Award, whatever that is. Bullshit. I don't know. I guess you can pronounce it that way. I'm going to try to. Sometimes I'll just pronounce it if I'm not sure. Bullshit. Especially if I don't have time to do a pronunciation key. I just do it. I just pronounce it wrong, and I'm sure people will get mad at me for it. But anyway, he'll address the history of the universe from birth to its fate, and how jazz can help explain some of the physics' most vexing questions. I like jazz. Might be good. Second half of the show, Kathleen Ramsland. She's the director of the Master of Arts in Criminal Justice program in DeSales University. She writes a regular blog for Psychology Today. I published about 59 books. Published 59 books discussing the most recent work studying Dennis Rader and the BTK Killer, who remained on the loose for 30 years. No one who knew him guessed his dark secret until 2004 when he made a mistake. I wonder what he made. Yeah. Sounds to be a good one. And then finally, next Friday, UFOs and Paranormal and Open Lines with Jimmy Church as the host. Should be a good one. Jimmy Church's host he is pretty good. His guest is Steve Murillo. And he's live in studio to discuss his life journey from fighter pilot to one of leading UFO and paranormal investigator. Then we'll follow with Open Lines. And that's what's going on this week. And that's what you're going to hear this week on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie on Premier Radio Networks. Check your local listings for the station in your area. Many affiliates. Just go into the Coast to Coast website at www.coasttocoastam.com. You can also be a Coast Insider and catch the shows you miss. But there are many fine stations carrying this program, even on FM. So check it out, Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, for people listening in Pittsburgh. You can turn on WJAS, I believe, 1320 on the AM dial. And Philadelphia, they listen to it on WPHT. Okay? And in Florida, Tampa, Florida, one of our newest affiliates on GGRB affiliates, fine radio station, 970 AM, WFLA. And that's, we hear Coast to Coast AM on fine stations. And of course, you can catch Coast to Coast AM If you can't get a lot of that noise and static on your AM radio, you can catch it on iHeart radio stations across America. So you're on iHeart as well. Coast to Coast AM and Premier Radio Networks for Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. The fine program that inspired this show, way out there. Yeah, you know it, right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I know I said that might not want to hear that, but let's see why we're not hearing the music here. Let's try it again. Isn't it I just don't have it up or what it is? It might be, but let me see if I can turn it up here on the I usually crank it up on the auto ducking, which will help me to hear it better, so that I know I'm hearing it from headphones. Okay. I think I just have to bring it up on the board. Okay, so why am I still not hearing it? Must be a reason. I know why. Because my headphones were off. The little headphone emblem on Spreaker was off. That's why. You find it that way, you know? Oh, well, you know how that is. Yeah. That's going to do it for Way Out There on GJRB. Thanks a lot for listening. I'm Gary J. Rustin. I hope you enjoyed the program. We didn't catch a lot of things. If we missed some stuff, it'll be on the next show. That's for sure. That's going to do it for me. I'm Gary J. Rustin. Thanks a lot for listening to Way Out There. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week for Bluegrass Jubilee and some old-time radio. Until then, look up in the skies and let me know what you see. Way Out There. Have a great weekend. So long, everyone. Watch. Pray. For we not know what hour the Son of God will return. Prophecy. New World Order, terrorism, economic collapse, wars, pest, Israel. When they say peace, then cometh sudden destruction. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, end-time headlines at www.endtimeheadlines.org. Freestyle summer went good, so GJRB is keeping the schedule format this fall. Coming up, the colorful Freestyle Fall Spectacular in October, and it's going to be a big season. The Positive Rock Show and Rock Worship returns with all new songs. Gary J in the afternoon is back, and I'll be playing more songs for the GJRB rotation of up-and-coming hits and a new middle-of-the-road music format. There'll be a changeable program schedule full of surprises, as you never know when we'll be on the air until I post it. New shows like The Crooners, Radio, TV, and Movie Classics Trivia Show, and more Radioland. Christian Community Fellowship will be having another Harvest Festival concert event this fall, and I'll record it for a big Harvest Festival podcast weekend. More music shows with rock and roll oldies, the best of jazz is back, and evening programming too. It's all new. A colorful Freestyle Fall Spectacular starts October 4th on GJRB. After 1 year, the wait is over. Now join Pastor Ron Johnston and a panel of men and women to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy. In this world of chaos and upheaval, this is the program that puts it all into perspective. How will we survive? God only knows. So trust Him and listen to the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast or live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB Online.
This is GJR Broadcasting.